Dalawa ang anyo ng pangangampanya sa halalan para enganyuhin ang mga botante para iboto o wag iboto ang isang kandidato. Sa usapin na tinatawag na negative campaigning, meron ba itong limitasyon? Meron bang bawal o kahit ano pwede? Ano ang panuntunan sa ating batas at resolusyon ng COMELEC ukol dito? Samahan niyo ako at tuklasin ang mga kasagutan dito lang sa Batas et al. Sa Newswatch Plus. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Kayo ay nanonood ng Batas et al. At ako po ang law teacher ng bayan, Attorney Al Agra. Makakasama natin ngayon walang iba kundi si Attorney Emil Marañon, isang election law practitioner upang magbigay ng mga kasagutan sa ating mga katanungan tungkol sa campaigning, lalong-lalo na ang negative campaigning. Kampanya, nasa kalagitnaan na tayo, Emil, ng kampanya sa lahat ng posisyon, no? Ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng kampanya, Attorney Marañon?
When you say campaigning, it's actually an act designed to promote yung kandidatura ng isang kandidato or reversely to promote the defeat of a particular candidate. So both positive and negative siya. But of course, most of us would understand that when you say campaigning, para lang ikampanya na
para manalo
yung isang kandidato. But under the law, actually, you can campaign actually para matalo yung isang kandidato. So under the same category and under the word campaigning siya.
Pag pinag-usapan natin ng campaigning, meron bang particular na period o panahon para magampanya?
Well, very unique ang situation ngayon because of the passage of RA 9369, which actually removed the crime of premature campaigning. So we have this very strange scenario right now na yung filing mo ng COC is actually October 1 to 8 this 2025 elections. But yung official start ng campaign period for national is February 12.
When you say national
candidates,
senators and party list?
Yes, that is correct. And also for local, which is for gubernatorial position hanggang sa members ng Sangguniang Bayan, March 28 naman. So very interesting yan because you have this gray area which is from the filing of the COC until the start of the campaign period, where all candidates are actually campaigning but they are not subject to the regulation of the COMELEC.
Because technically they're not campaigning.
They're not yet campaigning because there is no candidate yet.
So, mas mahaba yung period for national, ano?
That is correct.
So, that's 90 days?
90 days, that's 45 days.
45 days. And by the way, during that 90-day, 45-day period, may mga araw ba na bawal mangampanya?
Of course, the eve before of the election day, which is May 11, and the election day itself, which is May 12.
Bawal na mangampanya? Bawal
mangampanya, both online and offline. So kahit postings po, I think we should discourage yung pagpo-post during those days.
So balikan natin, maliwanag sa batas na may campaign period, 90 days, 45 days. No? Sa umpisa ng campaign period, doon ka lang tatawaging kandidato.
Kandidato, that is correct.
So between October, di ba ang filing, October 1 to 8, no? Then before the 90-day period ng February, tsaka itong March 28, anong pwede mong gawin at hindi pwedeng gawin?
May bago nga ng inventong term which does not exist in the past, but now we're calling them aspirants. So an aspirant is someone who has filed the COC but not yet a candidate under the law as defined by law, which is starting campaign period lang. So technically, ang problema natin is actually free for all at saka walang regulations, walang limit.
Habang aspirant.
Habang aspirant ka, hindi siya subject sa campaign finance regulation, wala ding size. That's why nakita natin, naglalakihan ng lahat ng mga billboards, etc. Only ang advertisement sa TV.
May vote buying na ba as aspirant?
Well, technically wala because when you speak about vote buying, it pertains to an act to promote a candidacy. And candidacy, there can only be a candidacy when there is a candidate, and there is no candidate until the start of the campaign period. That is why may only pabigas yung mga kandidato before the start of the campaign period. So it's actually a loophole that is being exploited right now by most politicians.
Sino ang pwedeng mangampanya? At sino ang hindi pwedeng mangampanya? No?
Well, very interesting to, and I'd love to discuss this because classically, we tend to understand the word campaigning na pwede lang siyang gawin ng kandidato at saka political parties. But looking at the trend of the Supreme Court cases, particularly yung Diocese of Bacolod case and yung St. Anthony case lately, in-emphasize ng Supreme Court na yung elections natin hindi na limited actually sa kandidato at party list. So ang trend ng Supreme Court in its decision is to make elections actually more participative and inclusive, na kahit yung ordinaryong Pilipino, kahit hindi ka kandidato, hindi ka kasapi ng isang political party, you have an equal right to actually promote the victory or the defeat of a particular candidate.
Paano naman yung mga kawani ng gobyerno, mga membro ng civil service?
Yeah.
Pwede ba sila mangampanya?
Well, very, very interesting na pinag-uusapan yan because I once attended a forum actually sa UP before where I discussed nasabi ko unang-una, ang premise ko dito is not because you join the government. Ibig sabihin po niyan, you are entirely prohibited to participate in all government activities. But at the same time, ang sinasabi ko nga, when you read the joint circular ng Civil Service at saka ng COMELEC, you can actually passively participate. You can attend rallies.
Express your views.
Express your views publicly. But ibang usapan yung ikaw yung nasa entablado, yung nangangampanya doon, then that becomes an active campaigning which is already prohibited by civil service rules. And we also have to classify, sino ba yung government employee na pinag-uusapan natin, which is very crucial. For example, now, when we talk about political offices, meaning yung mode of assumption mo sa government office is through an election. So sabi sa batas, by the mere fact na elective yung nature ng position mo, the first day that you actually assume the office, you're already campaigning. So yun. So very interesting issue actually as particularly as regards elective barangay officials, because ang COMELEC and even the civil service has been inconsistent, or should I say flip-flopping as regards its interpretation. In the old circular nila or even old pronouncements ng COMELEC, they are not allowed to participate.
Pero ngayon yata,
may
basta elected barangay.
May statement ngayon na saying na yung elective barangay officials are allowed to campaign. Ako, I agree din with that interpretation, because the rule on non-partisanship of barangay officials pertain to their election.
Not to them.
Sa kanila, when they run, that is why bawal sila man-nominate ng political party. But after that, it's another matter. And in fact nga, sabi ko, we have to recognize the reality na talagang partisan yan. Di ba? They're already aligned with a particular mayor, with a particular yung political leaning dun sa municipality. So ang hirap din sometimes when you have a set of rules and regulations na medyo detached sa realidad sa baba.
Bago natin pag-usapan yung negative campaigning, ano ba yung mga allowable acts, yung mga pwedeng gawin sa usapin ng campaigning, Emil?
Well, actually, ang nakasulat sa batas, when you read the Fair Elections Act, actually, I would always explain it this way. Before, under the old Omnibus Election Code, bawal lahat unless the law calls it lawful. Then yun lang yung allowed. Now, under RA 71, under the Fair Elections Act, it's the other way around. Everything is lawful unless prohibited by law.
So, typical ways of campaigning would be
posters, leaflets,
please vote for me.
Yes, rallies.
Rally.
So,
ngayon, social media.
Ikot sa bahay-bahay.
Nabanggit mo kanina, campaigning positive. Boto mo ko. Negative, huwag mo siyang iboto. Meron bang limitasyon dun sa positive campaigning na pinagbabawal ng batas?
Well, positive campaigning, basically, positive campaigning actually, walang bawal unless siguro na sa sobrang promote mo, nagsinungaling ka na.
Nagbayad ka na.
Yun. So, for example, nagsasabi ka na ng mga bagay na, kunwari, graduate siya sa ganitong universidad, eto yung mga degrees niya, but yung ending pala fake news lahat. So, positive campaigning yan, na nasobrahan.
Yung negative campaigning naman, wag mong iboto, meron bang limitasyon yun or hangganan?
Well, merong limitation, of course. We have to consider, would always remind everyone, na not because election period, baka ang assumption ng lahat na sususpend na yung ibang batas natin. All other laws, including penal laws natin, are still operational. They're only applied side by side with our election laws.
Magbanggit ka nga ng isang krimen sa penal code na bawal sa kampanya?
Well, very common, for example, would be libel and cyber libel, of course. So, yan yung pinaka-common na kinocommit ng, well, mga tao. Because everyone feels actually na because may sama ka ng loob or ayaw mo sa kandidato, that you can say anything and everything, even if it will be libelous na by the standard of the revised penal code or even by our cyber laws. So, we have to be mindful of that as well.
O, para lang alam ng ating mga botante, ano bang pwedeng halimbawa ng libelous statement na hindi pwede even for negative campaigning?
Well, for example, pag nagsasabi ka na may intent ka na, for example, to besmirch the reputation ng isang tao, for example, or even, for example, na yung kumbaga yung paninira na pagkatao ng isang tao, whether nga sabi nga sa batas, kahit katotohanan yan, pero kung may intention ka na siraan siya, that would still constitute as libel.
So anong mga halimbawa nung unfair and discriminatory ways of campaigning?
Yeah, for example, to insinuate, for example, na yung kalaban mo sa politika is affected by AIDS, for example, so that would violate the provision of our anti-discrimination dun sa mga HIV patients, for example. To discriminate, sasabihin mo na wag yung iboto kasi babae lang yan, o ang babae hindi yan makapag-decide, or hindi yan kaya mag-survive under stress or ganyan, or you would during your campaign you would say na wag iboto yan kasi bobo, katutubo yan IP yan hindi yan ganyan. So that would constitute as a discrimination, and under, for example, IPRA, these are violations of those laws, and COMELEC now, under this provision, can say na it is also an election offense which could potentially be a ground for disqualification and even for an election offense.
Yung sa Bawal Bastos Law, no, yung Safe Spaces Act, di ba nandun yung kailangan safe space and gender-based harassment. No? So, hindi lang sa kababahihan, pati sa LGBTQIA community. Sa usapin ng relihiyon, papasok din ba to sa COMELEC resolution na ito?
Well, it's possible then because it's still discriminatory because, for example, sabihin niya na, for example, Islamophobic yung statement na wag iboto yan because ganito yung religion niya. So, this could fall also under the discriminatory provision on the basis of religion So, and also, siguro, one thing din na dapat isipin ng taong bayan, whether or not may guidelines ng COMELEC as regards this, but every time you hear a candidate say these things, it goes to their very moral fabric na willing ka ba bumoto sa isang kandidato na walang respeto sa babae, mababa ang tingin sa mga katutubo, mababa ang tingin sa kababaihan, di ba? So, dapat with or without this provision, the general public should be aware that we should elect someone who is morally upright. Because kung bastos yan sa babae, for example, bastos din yan sa batas, bastos din yan sa regulations. So, we might be electing a monster into office. So, we should be very careful about this.
Dagdagan pa natin, itong issue ng red tagging. Yes. Pwede ka ba mag-red tag sa kampanya?
Well, exactly. It's the same. In-include na rin siya ng COMELEC ngayon na bawal po siya na to integrate it sa pangangampanya. So, it could also potentially be an election offense. So, we should be very careful na sabihin natin, ay, ano yan, wag niyong iboto, ano yan, NPA yan. While most siguro sa atin, sa urban areas, walang impact yung ganong statement. But when you go to rebel-inflicted areas actually, medyo may dating yan, medyo malakas ang dating sa tao niyan. So we should be very careful about it.
Itong panuntunan ng COMELEC, ano lang ba to sa physical face-to-face campaigning or pati online saklaw nito?
Well, ang one development now with our election regulations is that COMELEC has continuously exerted its regulatory powers even sa online platform. So now you can see yung degree of regulation niya sa social media accounts, even sa internet. For example, now candidates have to register their social media accounts. So, in registering your social media account sa COMELEC, you're actually kumbaga parang it's an implied acceptance na COMELEC has the power to regulate me, including what I'm saying, that it should not be discriminatory, that it should be fair, it should be truthful. So yun, so sakop na ngayon po siya ng regulation ng COMELEC.
At anong tingin mo sa ginagawa ng COMELEC about regulation on fair, discriminatory campaigning, and social media?
Well, very interesting na discussion yan because ang legal basis pa rin ng COMELEC in regulating candidates and even political parties are still the 1985 Omnibus Election Code or even the Fair Election Act, which was passed in the early 90s. Kung baga, ito pa yung pre-internet laws natin that Congress could not have thought about the internet
at that time.
So, yung question kasi nito, hindi lang siya regulation, but we're talking here about penal laws. Penal laws kasi yung Omnibus Election Code, even yung Fair Elections Act. So, these are punitive in character. So, as we all know, when you deal about criminal laws, it is always strictly construed against the prosecutory bodies and liberally in favor of the accused. So, that's why in case of doubt whether saklaw ba or hindi, minamandato sa atin ng Korte Suprema that it should be interpreted na hindi siya saklaw.
Sa libel, ano ang pwedeng kaso laban sa isang kandidato or even voter kung libel?
Well, depende sa form. Either it's your typical libel or which is typical publication, newspaper, ganyan. Or it could fall under cyber libel naman, which is online naman yung platform mo or through the internet.
So kung isang kandidato during the campaign may libelous statements, magsasampa ba siya ng kaso sa COMELEC Law Department?
No. For me, ang libel kasi ang ano niyan, yung jurisdiction niya regular courts pa rin, tapos regular prosecutor pa rin. Kasi ang jurisdiction ng COMELEC as a prosecutory body is still relating doon sa violations ng Omnibus Election Code and related statutes. So, election offenses pa rin yung nature. So, libel is not technically an election offense. So, it's a regular na criminal act which is under the jurisdiction ng regular prosecutors.
Ito namang vote buying, saan ka naman magkakaso?
Ang bagong development ngayon is under the old law, which is the 1985 Omnibus Election Code. Exclusive yung jurisdiction ng COMELEC to prosecute unless mag-designate sila ng regular prosecutor. But now under nung inamend yung batas ng automated election law natin, naging concurrent na yung jurisdiction ng
mga prosecutors
ng COMELEC. So you can actually file, pwede kang mamili, regular prosecutor or sa COMELEC. And whoever acquires the first jurisdiction excludes the other.
Itong mga nakasaad na mga unfair and discriminatory campaigning sa COMELEC Resolution 1116 sa gender, sa persons with disabilities, saan ka naman magfa-file ng kaso?
Well, depende din kung ano ang atake mo sa kaso, no? For example, if you're filing the case directly under the corresponding law, for example, yung sa law relating to AIDS and HIV, for example, may specific penal provision din yan, which regular prosecutors can take cognizance. However, dun sa regulation ng COMELEC, sinasabi niya na it could fall as an election offense. So when you frame it as an election offense, then you have to file it now either with the COMELEC Law Department or with the regular prosecutor as an election offense.
Kung kandidato ang lumabag sa fair and anti-discriminatory campaigning, pwede mo ba siyang filean ng petition to disqualify?
Well, under the current provision ngayon ng COMELEC on petitions to disqualify, all other violations of the Omnibus Election Code and all related statutes, including the Fair Elections Act, can constitute as a ground for disqualification. So it can be filed also as a petition to disqualify. Let us remember that the petition to disqualify is an admin aspect of the offense. So pwede siyang isabay na may petition to disqualify ka pa, pwede mo siyang isabay na may election offense ka pa, pwede mong dalawa ang atake mo.
So para alam lang ng mga botante, pag sila ay nakasuhan at nahusgahan na nag-commit ng election offense, ano ang parusa sa kanila?
Well, pag ang election offense, ang typical dyan is 1 year to 6 years imprisonment. At saka, of course, may mga accessory penalty yan, perpetual disqualification, ganyan, and all other accessory penalties. That is why siguro panawagan din yan, sir, no, na more than the fact na may corresponding election offense siya, may kulong or may fine, but we have to consider na importante po yung eleksyon sa bayan natin. That is why we have to to take it seriously, not only seriously but responsibly. So because we don't want to end up electing the wrong people in office. Because as we all know, ang impact po niyan sa susunod na 3 taon, it affects our livelihood, it affects our state of our community. So that's why we have to be very, very careful of how we deal with the upcoming elections.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Emil. Meron ka bang karagdagang mensahe para sa ating mga nanunood, mga botante, mga political parties, mga kandidato, Emil?
Well, sinasabi ko parati sa mga clients no, na sometimes ang isipin natin is hindi lang yung ang goal natin is hindi lang manalo sa parating na May 12, 2025 elections, but ang goal natin is matapos actually yung election. We will survive it without mga residual cases. Ayaw natin na natalo ka na nga sa eleksyon, sandamukal pa yung kaso mo after. So, kumbaga, doble ang talo mo. That is why, ang sinasabi ko parati, we have to be very responsible. We have to be very mindful of how we conduct ourselves sa kampanya, even sa election. Because hindi yan matatapos dun sa May 12, but possibly, if we violate some rules and regulations, baka makasuhan pa po tayo, baka makulong pa po tayo. That's why we have to be very careful.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Emil Marañon. Good luck sa iyong mga kaso sa Supreme Court.
Maraming salamat
sa iyong mga kliyente at maraming salamat sa pagsama mo sa amin para pag-usapan ang campaigning at negative campaigning. Thank you, Emil.
Maraming salamat po.
Ang kampanya, bagamat malaya, ay merong hangganan. Bawal ang libelo. Bawal ang pambabastos ukol sa gender. Bawal bumili ng boto. Bawal manginsulto dahil sa kapansanan. Bawal ang red tagging. Bawal mamwersa o manakot. Kailangan pa rin ng respeto dahil respeto rin ang inaasahan natin galing sa iba. Muli, maraming salamat sa ating mga manonood. Abangan ninyo ang mga susunod pa nating mga talakayan tungkol sa eleksyon dito lang sa Batas et al. Sa Newswatch Plus.